Today, we are covering two of the most important technical concepts in all of HVAC, superheat and subcooling. Guys, these critical measurements tell you whether your refrigerant charge is correct and if your system components are functioning properly. Mastering these calculations is essential for any HVAC professional. If you want to go from being a basic technician to a truly professional one, you must understand these two concepts correctly. Let's go. Why do these two measurements matter so much? Guys, before we define superheat and subcooling, let me quickly explain why they matter so much in real fieldwork. Every time a customer calls saying their AC is not cooling well, one of the first things a professional technician checks is the superheat and subcooling values. These two readings together tell the complete story of what is happening inside the refrigeration cycle. They tell you if the refrigerant charge is correct, if the evaporator is working properly, if the condenser is performing well, and if the expansion device is functioning correctly. If the refrigerant charge is too high or too low, the system can suffer from reduced cooling capacity, increased energy consumption, and mechanical failure. Superheat and subcooling are the tools that prevent all of this. What is superheat? Superheat is the temperature of refrigerant vapor above its boiling point, which makes sure the refrigerant remains in vapor form as it exits the evaporator coil. In simple words, superheat means how much hotter the refrigerant gas is than its boiling point at a given pressure. Let me make this even clearer, guys. Inside the evaporator coil, the refrigerant absorbs heat from the room air and boils, changing from liquid to vapor. The exact temperature at which this boiling happens at a given pressure is called the saturation temperature. Now, superheat is the extra heat that the refrigerant vapor absorbs after it has already finished boiling and become fully vapor. It is the temperature the vapor reaches above that boiling point. If the vapor at the suction port reads 60 degrees Fahrenheit and the saturation temperature corresponding to the suction pressure is 45 degrees Fahrenheit, superheat equals 60 minus 45, which is 15 degrees Fahrenheit. So, the formula is simple, guys. Superheat equals the actual suction line temperature minus the saturation temperature at the current suction pressure. You measure the suction line temperature using a temperature clamp placed on the suction line at the outdoor unit service port. And you get the saturation temperature by reading the suction pressure on your manifold gauge and looking up the corresponding temperature on a pressure temperature chart for that specific refrigerant. Why is superheat so critical for the compressor? Guys, only gas should go to the compressor. Liquid can break it. This is the most important reason superheat exists as a concept. If the evaporator coil does not fully evaporate all the liquid refrigerant before it reaches the compressor, liquid refrigerant enters the compressor. Compressors are designed to compress gas, not liquid. Liquid is incompressible, and when liquid refrigerant enters a running compressor, it causes a condition called liquid slugging, which can bend or break the compressor valves and pistons almost instantly. Superheat being present and measurable at the suction line confirms that all the refrigerant has fully evaporated before it reaches the compressor, which means the compressor is protected. What is the correct superheat range? The ideal superheat range is 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Too high means poor cooling. Too low means compressor risk. Let me explain both extremes, guys. If superheat is too low, close to 0 or below 10 degrees, it means the refrigerant is not fully evaporating in the evaporator coil. Liquid refrigerant is reaching the suction line, and if nothing is done, liquid slugging will damage the compressor. If superheat is too high, above 20 to 25 degrees, it means the evaporator is not getting enough refrigerant. The refrigerant is evaporating too early in the coil, and the system is not absorbing as much heat as it should, which means poor cooling performance, and a system working much harder than necessary. For TXV systems, which is the thermostatic expansion valve, normal superheat is lower, typically 5 to 15 degrees. For fixed orifice systems, like capillary tubes, superheat is typically higher, around 10 to 20 degrees. What is subcooling? Subcooling refers to the temperature decrease of refrigerant liquid below its saturation temperature. It occurs at the condenser outlet and liquid line. Guys, subcooling is essentially the opposite concept to superheat, but it happens at the condenser side of the system instead of the evaporator side. Inside the condenser, the hot refrigerant gas releases heat to the outside air and condenses, changing from hot gas into a liquid. The point at which it finishes condensing and becomes fully liquid is again called the saturation temperature, but this time at the high side pressure. Subcooling is how many degrees below that condensing saturation temperature the liquid refrigerant cools further before it leaves the condenser and enters the liquid line heading toward the expansion valve. The formula is equally simple. Subcooling equals saturation temperature minus actual liquid line temperature. Saturation temperature is determined from the high side pressure. Actual temperature is measured on the liquid line. So, for example, if the saturation temperature but your high side pressure is 110 degrees Fahrenheit, and you measure the actual liquid line temperature as 100 degrees Fahrenheit, your subcooling is 10 degrees Fahrenheit. Why is subcooling so important for the expansion valve? Just as superheat protects the compressor, subcooling protects the expansion device. Subcooling ensures that the refrigerant stays in liquid form as it leaves the condenser and guarantees that only liquid refrigerant enters the expansion device for efficient cooling. If the refrigerant has not subcooled enough below its condensing temperature, vapor bubbles can form in the liquid line before the expansion valve. This condition is called flash gas. When flash gas enters a capillary tube or expansion valve, it significantly reduces the flow of refrigerant into the evaporator, and cooling performance drops noticeably. Adequate subcooling ensures a solid column of pure liquid refrigerant enters the expansion device every single time, giving it full control over refrigerant flow and maximum cooling efficiency. What is the correct subcooling range? For most standard split AC systems with a TXV, the correct subcooling range is typically 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. For fixed orifice systems, it is generally 5 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Higher subcooling than these ranges usually indicates the system is overcharged with too much refrigerant, which causes high head pressure and puts excessive load on the compressor. Lower subcooling than these ranges usually points to either an undercharged system, a refrigerant leak, or a restriction in the liquid line. Together, superheat and subcooling pin down whether a system is correctly charged, overcharged, undercharged, or has an airflow or metering device problem. How to use both readings together for diagnosis. Guys, this is where it all comes together in real fieldwork. No experienced technician looks at just one reading alone. You always check both superheat and subcooling together, because they give you a complete picture. If superheat is high and subcooling is low, the system is undercharged and needs refrigerant added. If superheat is low and subcooling is high, the system is overcharged and refrigerant needs to be recovered. If superheat is high but subcooling is normal, there may be an airflow problem at the evaporator, or the expansion device is not opening enough. If both readings are within normal range but the system is still not cooling well, the problem is likely not the refrigerant charge at all. You need to look at airflow, coil cleanliness, or the compressor itself. Tools you need to measure superheat and subcooling. Guys, to measure superheat and subcooling correctly in the field, you need three things: a manifold gauge set to read suction pressure and high side pressure, a temperature clamp to measure the actual suction line temperature and liquid line temperature, and a pressure temperature chart, also called a PT chart, for the specific refrigerant you are working with, to convert your pressure readings into saturation temperatures. Many modern digital manifold gauge sets automatically calculate superheat and subcooling for you once you enter the measured line temperatures, which saves time and reduces calculation errors on the job. Guys, to summarize everything correctly, superheat is how much hotter the refrigerant vapor is above its boiling point at the evaporator outlet. It protects the compressor from liquid damage. Normal range is 10 to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Subcooling is how much cooler the liquid refrigerant is below its condensing temperature at the condenser outlet. It protects the expansion device from flash gas. Normal range is 10 to 15 degrees Fahrenheit. Together, these two measurements tell you exactly what the refrigerant charge is doing, whether the system components are performing correctly, and what action needs to be taken. Master these two readings, guys, and you will diagnose any refrigeration system accurately and professionally every single time. If this video helped you understand superheat and subcooling correctly, please like and share it. Share it with every HVAC technician and student who needs to know this.